He appeared where fear was thickest. No records, no past, no name anyone could trace. Yet every colonel in the regiment knew the whispers of a man who fought like a shadow and left behind nothing but shattered weapons and broken pride. That night, as the campfire dimmed and soldiers' voices faded into silence, they saw him again. Silent, watchful, and more real than any ghost had a right to be. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. No one remembered the moment he arrived, only the sudden hush that followed. Boots stilled on gravel. Cards paused mid-shuffle. Even laughter seemed afraid to exist in his presence. He was a stranger, yet every colonel's eyes darkened with something unspoken. Recognition. He had no medals on his chest, no papers in headquarters, but the way they shifted in their seats betrayed the truth. They feared him. They called him the Ghost. Not because he vanished, but because he carried with him the silence of cemeteries, and when he looked at a man, it felt like he could see not only his face, but the secrets buried deep within. The youngest among them, a hot-headed captain, dared to laugh. What could one man do against an army? The words barely left his lips when the Ghost's hand shot forward, not striking the man, but grabbing his rifle. A twist, a snap. The steel barrel bent as if it were no more than clay. The captain fell back, his pride more broken than the weapon. The camp erupted in murmurs. Some whispered awe, others fear. But inside, the Ghost felt nothing of pride. His hands trembled after every act of violence. He hated the sound of breaking metal, the cries of men who underestimated him. Yet, something deeper than hate kept him there, a promise made long ago to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. Still, the colonels remembered. He had broken through their walls before. Not walls of stone, but walls of arrogance and cruelty. He had shattered the wrist of one who beat a villager, snapped the saber of another who mocked a grieving widow. Every act left no paperwork, no testimony, only silence and a warning carried by rumor. And that night, silence was his weapon again. He stood, unmoving, as the firelight danced over his face. A colonel rose, fists clenched, the veins in his neck, straining. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Would the Ghost strike? Would he break yet another man who thought himself untouchable? But instead, he did something none expected. He reached out not with violence, but with mercy. The Ghost placed the bent rifle gently in the captain's lap and whispered words too soft for most to hear. Strength is not in breaking. It's in knowing when not to. That single line cut deeper than shattered bones. The camp grew still. Even the wind seemed to pause. Soldiers who once whispered fear now saw something else in his shadowed eyes. Sorrow, tempered with compassion. For the first time, they didn't just fear the Ghost, they respected him. The colonels would never admit it aloud, but they knew. Power built on cruelty could crumble in an instant, while power born of restraint could never be taken. Because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back. And as the night closed around them, the firelight flickering across faces once proud, they realized the truth. The Ghost had never been their enemy. He was their mirror, their judge, their reminder that even in silence, justice speaks. If this story stirred something in you, make sure to subscribe for more. And share this with someone who believes in the power of mercy. And don't forget to leave a comment. I'd love to hear what this story made you think about.